And I did say this summer, I predicted Tottenham to finish around about 6th or 7th. I said Tottenham will struggle in their second season. Watch out for Ange, mate. Man looks stressed as hell, mate.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Wait, he looks stressed. No, he looks stressed. But when you say that, watch out for Ange. Did you watch the game? And when you watch the game and you've seen our performances, would you look at Ange and say Ange is the problem here? Because if you're gonna do that, then come on, man.
No. You had chances.
Hold on. Do you want me to tell you why? Do you want me to actually tell you why? Yeah, because I know what you're gonna say. Was you better than Leicester? Yeah, I'm not even gonna mention the Everton game because you won that 4-0. Was you better against Leicester? Yes. Was you better than Newcastle in large parts of the game? Yes. But it doesn't matter. The result is what matters. And this is what Spursy, bro. Because you're now going to say you're not going to abandon your principles. But sometimes in a football game, even little thing, if the high line's not working or you're conceding back, just drop back 10 yards. Drop back 10
We're not going to. Nah, but Roms, the problem. That high line wasn't the problem. Nah, but that high line wasn't a problem. This is what I mean. Fans are gonna come in. No. But this is what we're not gonna do though. This is
Romero was ball watching. Romero wasn't even watching the runner behind.
This is what we're not gonna do then, Roms. This is where you looked at it wrong. You're looking at it completely wrong because Romero was in the right position. Dragushin was out of position. Dragushin was supposed to step up because
Dragushin was going with the runner.
No, Roms. But this way you're looking at it wrong because Tottenham's high line, we play an overly eager high line. That's how it's supposed to be. Romero was in the right position. If you look at Romero, Udogie, and Porro, play it back. If you play back the goal, you see all three of them are in line with each other.
I have to disagree.
Okay, all right. So let me explain this, please. Let me finish.
Go on.
Romero is in line with Udogie and Porro. Dragushin, yes, he's following the runner, but if you have Van de Ven in there, he steps up. And then you look at Jacob Murphy, Isaac, they're all offside. You can sit here and say that Romero is ball watching, but he's standing.
Where was the pass made though, Rums? Look at Jordan. Look at the pass.
Exactly, it was played in between.
He played in between, but Dragushin was supposed to step up. I don't look at Romero and say that the problem was with Romero there. And
Romero's not even on the half turn. He's facing the ball.
Exactly, his body language isn't even right.
I get what you mean, but for me,
that whole setup's just
look at the state of that back line. That's not a back line. That's a zigzag.
And what we're not going to do here is if Van de Ven was in there, that wouldn't be a problem. We obviously used to having a really fast centre back in there, and Van de Ven. And like I did say pre-game, I thought that he may, like you said, Roms, tweak the high line a little just to adjust to the fact that Dragushin hasn't got the legs. Yes, because Dragushin doesn't have the leg. But at the same time, Dragushin should have been higher. He should have played to how we usually do. And the way I look at this goal and say if Dragushin's a step forward, Isaac and Murphy are both offside, and then we're looking at the game completely differently.
Yeah, but that's a risk of that setup, bro. That setup is ridiculous.
Of course, that's the risk of the setup. But the thing is, you say this is ridiculous, but then I look at the goal that Arsenal conceded against Brighton, and it was the exact same pass straight through the middle of the defense that killed them. It's funny how we're going to go. Tottenham's is crazy, but Arsenal done the exact same thing. It's the exact. I know we're talking about my team, but I'm sitting here and saying that you guys are going to call the high line so crazy. But if you have the right players to play that high line, it's not actually not that crazy.
Do you want me to tell you why it's different? Do you want me to tell you why it's different? That happens to Arsenal once in a blue moon. We've seen that goal against Spurs time and time again, bro.
Of course, it's again. I've acknowledged prior to the game. I knew that we was going to have some problems with Van de Ven not being there. I knew that obviously with the pace that they have in behind, it was always going to be an issue with Barnes, Isaac. I still think here, and when you look at Chelsea and Manchester United's games, and look, Saeed come and said, Spurs, I look at them, they're going to finish 6th or 7th. Don't really understand how you can look at Spurs' first 3 games and say that, Spurs are looking Spursy and so on, and then look at Man United's 3 games and take any confidence from that. I look at our 3 games and just like Don...
Man United have got more players that can put the ball in the back of the net.
No,
I don't know.
Man United have got players.
I don't know about that, Lee.
You were just talking Xerxes down.
No.
You were just talking Xerxes, mate.
No, Lee.
What is Son? They got Son, they got Werner, they got Brennan Johnson, they got the Pigeon, and they got
let's he's out.
Okay, but then if you look at yesterday, we were missing for 1 or 2 of our number 9s. We didn't have the option of playing them, so we had to play Kulusevski in the middle, who, I agree, shouldn't have played in the middle, but he wanted to put Son out on the left. We played actually good. We broke Newcastle down. We had plenty of chances. Should have scored more goals than we did. You can look at the game and say Newcastle deserved to get the win because they finished their chances. Cool, but Tottenham definitely have more options in our attack that can finish than Manchester United. Let's be honest here. Dominic Solanke, he scored nearly 20 goals a season at 20 goals last season at Bournemouth. That's not for no reason. If Dominic Solanke was in the game yesterday, I
Solanke's had
understand that,
one
but
good season, bro.
you need a focal point in the attack. You can just look at the way that he plays and know that yesterday in that Tottenham team, he would have had chance after chance and he probably would have put one away. That's just the way that I see it. We didn't have no number 9 in there. And so I look at that game and say we lacked a number 9, we lacked a focal point in our attack. And I can clearly see what the issue is. Whereas with Manchester United, they've got their front line, they've got their best players playing. And right now, there's just no fluidity. There's no chemistry. Them guys aren't linking up. They're not even creating good chances. The quality of chances Manchester United have are pretty poor. Let's be honest here. Chelsea's the only one you can say are dangerous, and that's because they have good individual quality.
Dominic Solanke scored in 16 out of 38 games.
And I was going to say, Lee, yeah, I think Solanke will come into your side and do well. But what I will say, I think he scores less goals. Do you know why? He's against a Bournemouth team that sit behind the ball, and a lot of the goals are in transition. Let's be honest, most of the league, like 2/3 of the league, apart from the top 6 and probably your West Ham, your Villas and whatnot, they're not going to sit behind the ball draws where he's going to actually have to find ways of. This is one thing I've got to big up Haaland for. I know we're going to go to City later on, but I was one of them critics where Haaland, ball at his feet, he's not really good in tight areas. He has elevated his game. Listen, we know what he's at 101, but he's elevated his game in the box. And I think you saw it with Solanke against Leicester. I know it was his first game, George. I know it was his first game, but when the ball got fizzed into him in and around the little spaces, he didn't really do that well. And I think he's going to have to improve his game in that aspect because you're not going to get teams, you're not going to score transition goals with Spurs. Most of the league are going to park the bus. So, yeah, I think
I wouldn't really say that, Rons. I feel like we get quite a lot of transition goals. We do play really quick in the transition. I think in a lot of teams, like in that Newcastle game, we had transitions, but we just didn't have the players to execute them. When you have Brennan Johnson going down the right wing, there's not really...
That's the problem. You've got Brennan Johnson running around like a crackhead. You've got Timo Werner doing likewise. Odegaard's, well, whatever. Yeah. Then
no, but that's not you're not going to do that though, Lee, because Brennan Johnson and Werner both played for what 20-30 minutes of the game. Odegaard actually had a really good game. He had however many touches in their box. Just again, he's a raw player with a bit of raw talent who needs to improve.
What does raw mean, bro?
Raw talent. It means that he's got a lot of ability. He just needs to, iron it out. Like his finishing is just not there. The final third ball is just not there.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's my point. So his finishing's not there. The same as Werner's not there. Same as Brennan Johnson's is not there. Yeah, I've just gone through Son's goals last season. He scored in 14 games last season. That ain't good enough if you want to get in the top 4.
George, do you know what's scary about Son?
I don't get saying it. Scoring in 14 games and 18 goals. What's bad about that? That's a good.
Because there's 38 games, and he scored less than half of them.
He wasn't.
He played 35 league games last season. I've just looked at it.
Yeah,
George.
I don't think that's a bad result. I don't.
George, you know what's scary about Son?
25 games.
Do you know what's scary about Son? I think what you saw one of his best seasons when Harry Kane got injured and he had to play through the middle. He was bagging every week. But what's scary about Son is his days on the left for me are done. Now, that's the only position he can now play because when Solanke comes back in, it's not like you play 2 up front. You play 1 up front. I genuinely think, I'm not saying Son's washed as a player, but I think his effectiveness is going to go like that this season. And that's not necessarily his fault, but he's better through the middle. But once Solanke comes back, and I know he scored a brace last week, but I don't know about Son, man. I'm seeing him on the left, similar to Rashford yesterday. He's on the left.
That's crazy.
He's trying to beat his man, and he just can't. Bro, it's confidence.
He can't beat his man. Yeah,
Son's pace is gone.
I agree with that. He definitely can't beat his man, but Son has so much other parts about his game that I would say that he can be clinical. Like when he's in the box, he only needs 1 or 2 chances to put the ball in the back.
That's
why he will play. And just like with someone like Jota or someone like that, you keep them on the pitch regardless of how they perform.
Are you confident, George, about the season? Top 4. Are you confident about top 4 this season?
Like I said earlier, man, I think top 4 is going to be a very tight battle. I would have said just like Don said, if some of our problems in the transfer window were addressed correctly, we signed a bit more better quality players, and I would have been a lot more confident for top 4. But with the way they played out, with our lack of proven quality in depth, I'd say that top 4 is just going to be a very tight battle between ourselves, Chelsea. I've got Manchester United. See, unlike you, I've got Man United being the team that's going to be 7th or 8th. I think you lot look really poor. I think Ten Hag's going to get sacked at one point and you guys are going to fall off a cliff. But I actually think Chelsea, on the other hand, like us, they've got a good base of talent of which they can build upon. And having young players like we do, with a lot of talent, they're players you can't rely on all the time, but they're also players that will pop up with big performances, big goals at times. And I think that we have that. We have that ability in our team. So top 4 is going to be a tight battle. I've still got us finishing 4th, but if we finish 5th and it's a few points away, then I wouldn't be surprised. I just think that's going to be Tottenham and Chelsea battling out for 5th and 4th. 4th and 5th. United
fair enough.
Away.